All right, here we go. This is the opportunity. I'm going to show you the importance of the open short finder. We've talked about how the Power Probe 3 can check voltage and things, and now we're going to go over the importance of the open short finder. So as you know, with voltage, it travels the path of least resistance to ground. And as you can tell, I've got my got all my lights working here. We've got our fuse, and when I throw this thing, shorted it out, maybe you heard that little click, it popped the breaker, and this is a resettable breaker. It's got a red button right here. If it wasn't for that, it popped the fuse, and if we didn't have a fuse, we would definitely let the smoke out of things, okay? Path of least resistance to ground, we've shorted it out, and I'm going to introduce to you the tool of the open short finder. There are two components of this thing. The main component we have here is what I call the emitter. It emits the signal. And let's see, gotta find my... So what we're going to do is we're going to use this emitter. We're going to power it up, and it's going to turn on, make a lot of racket, and it's going to, and when we introduce it into the circuit, we've removed the fuse, we put it into the circuit, and sure enough, it's going to say, hey, you got a short. We know that. We know exactly where the short is. And we have the luxury of that. In the real world, we don't know where it is, and we have to find it. So the emitter, and then we've got the receiver. It's beeping, it's all happy, it's sensing the signal that it is. And the most important thing to do is to lock it, to lock the signal. And how we can do that is push this button right here. Sense lock. And now it's locked to that signal. Because if we didn't lock it, we'd be finding frequency all over the place. We'd find it here, there, there, but now it's locked on the signal. So let's apply it to the board. It's saying that it's definitely going down. I'm going to decrease the signal. That's another feature of this tool, is you can increase or decrease it. This is really clean. There's no obstacles in the way. There's no upholstery, plastic, things of that nature. So we can operate this test with very little magnification of the frequency. But one thing you will notice is as I change directions of the tool, the arrow should be changing directions also. Goes down, goes down. Oh, popped it out of there. No big deal. We've got it hooked up again. Even when I go off the board, it's still pointing the right direction. So it leads me right to it. I found it. Signal dies. I found it. Okay? That is not the real world, right? The real world is you're dealing with this loom. So let me do some quick modifications here. Really, I'm going to borrow the ground because this wire harness is just floating in the air. It doesn't have its own ground. And then with all these attachments that I can get from the Power Probe kit, makes it really, really kind of unique. And let's energize it again. And sure enough, I've got a short because I know on this wire loom where I have it. But now we're going to get the chance to see it. Now turn off our turn off the emitter. I'm going to start up the receiver again. It's beeping. It's beeping. Well, let's increase the strength because we're definitely going to be needing that. Now here's a story about this. This basically is like a hound dog, right? We all know in the movies that when the convict escapes the prison, they bring out the hound dog, so they have the hound dog sniff the guy's socks to lock the frequency. And that's the same thing that we're going to do here. This hound dog is super happy. We're just going to push that once, and we've locked the signal. And now we can increase or we can decrease the signal strength. I want to keep the signal strength up because through this circuit, we're going through, I have other wires surrounding the short. We have the conduit. Who knows what else we'll have, but it's definitely telling me to go up. So as I go up, I can find signal here. I can find signal here. And as I go over here, I got no signal. So what about if I go here? I've got signal. So it's bringing me to it. That's what I booby trapped right there. And I found it. I found the short to ground. So that's what Leroy does. And keep in mind, this is not like super high tech, very precision. It's just to get you within a basic realm. Another good thing about the Power Probe kit, when you buy it like this, you get so many attachments. This will allow you to put frequency through a tail light harness. And then I was utilizing these awesome yellow connectors, back probes. The other one here fits into the fuse. So we've got receiver, emitter, all kinds of accessories, plus the Power Probe 3, plus a cigarette lighter adapter, plus a wire piercer. So I sell that for 350 bucks. It's a great way to buy it that way. You get it all at once. You can buy separate components. You can buy Open Short Finder just by itself, or Power Probe 3 by itself, or accessory kits. That's just a good way to do it. So anyway, you know, the definition between a demonstration and an experiment is if it worked, right? So anyway, so I want to kind of change gears now and talk about the importance of a paradigm. And paradigms are important. All a paradigm is how you look at things. And one of the most monumental books I've ever read, in fact, I listened to the CDs a lot. I've read the book a couple times. There's 13 CDs in the kit. I've listened to each CD probably 20 times in the past 5 years. Extremely good stuff. Dr. Covey is amazing. He wrote a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And man, I'm going to be quoting him a lot because he's got some monumental stuff out there. But a paradigm is how you look at things, and everybody has a different paradigm. It's because it's due to the way they were raised, due to their environment, due to their religious viewing, due to their community they were raised in. All of those things, their economic factors, that is what produces how you look at life. But here's the thing. If you have 100 different people, they look at life differently for the most part. But that doesn't mean it's reality. Reality is different than someone's paradigm. But those who have this view think, well, that's just the way it should be. Okay? So, Covey, he teaches this great little story. And he's traveled the world. In fact, he was consulting all kinds of businesses, and he was on a subway one time in New York City. Yeah, bear with me here. I believe in no editing. What you see is what you get. I call it rat rod editing. What you see is what you get. So, he was on the subway, 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Very quiet, very somber, people just drinking their coffee, reading the paper, quiet. All of a sudden, one dad and 2 kids get on. The environment changed drastically. The kids are playing tag. They're running around. They're bumping into people. They're knocking people's papers out of their hands. And everyone's getting irate, man. They're going to want to smack these kids. So Dr. Covey's like, what do I do? So he scoots next to the father and he says, I don't know if you realize this, but your kids are kind of being out of control. What can I do to help? That's one paradigm. Now that's what the father says. He says, oh, well, we just left the hospital with her mother passed away, and I don't know how to break it to him. 2 paradigms. Smack the kids, hug the kids. And that's my point. Always, if you can, look at things a different direction. Like me, I wanted to get in this tool business so bad, but I'm a bargain kind of guy. I bought a tool truck that cost $15,000, and I was adamant. You're not going to cram a new truck down my throat when I sign papers. This is my truck, and I'm going to get it. Oh boy, I got it. Transmission blew up, brakes burn out, all kinds of fun. Had to start shopping for tires. And then when the engine started smoking, I was really consulting with my boss and my district manager, and I'm like, man, this thing's chewing me alive. And all he said was this, Jay, how many lease payments would you have made, you know, from all the repair bills? And I went, oh yeah, that was a paradigm shift. So what I'm rocking today, this truck is not even 3 years old, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, the lease payments are a little steep, but all I do is put gas, oil in it, keep it clean, drive it around. It is so much better. So I had my paradigm shift. So I encourage you in your life, if you're frustrated about something, maybe get with somebody, have them help you see something differently, because just the way you think that's the way it is, most likely that's not the way it is. So anyway, I'll leave that with you. Thanks for your patience with my no editing, out of focus, flopping things around, but you know, I'm enjoying this, and thank you for allowing me to share this information.